It's a beautiful summer evening. It's around 7 p.m. and there's a so-called heat wave in the country. We're feeling good. I felt to sit and talk in the simplest terms of how life is viewed from right here, right now. No imaginary audience. There's some idea of a concept about that may or may not encounter this random talk on a social media outlet that promotes videos. But I sit here mindful of the life I've led, mindful of the life I'm leading, mindful of the life I may or may not lead. One thing's for sure, there seems to have been a past. Another thing is sure is that there is no way to predict whether there'll be a future. But here am I, selfless, Will selfless. Billy, as my friends call me. This is me without my glasses. I can't see very much. This is me with my rather thick and extending frame glasses. And I sit here content in the summer moments. I want to talk about what there's been enough of at the age of 56 in life. Let's start at the top. There has been enough love. There has been countless thoughts, enough of these in fact, that there has not been enough love, but on closer inspection, there has certainly been enough love. All that I am, all that I have known, all that I have experienced has been imbued and imbibed with the very essence of love, and it's easy to say that when we're not suffering. It's not so difficult, not so easy to know that when we're in suffering or enslaved to suffering. And suffering is whenever we're not in control of a situation, circumstance, or the whole of the field of who we are and have been and consider ourselves to be, and time and where we're at. There has been enough time, contrary to a popular opinion, that people die young. In fact, we all die on time. We die, or the body and the mind evaporate at the allocated slot, regardless of all the activities we take. Now, of course, we can appear to exacerbate a movement towards the absolute date and time when the body and the mind evaporate as an idea. Certainly to me as an apparent person knowing and having that life. Yet in the end, that moment, like any other moment, finishes or appears, and then the story is finished. To use a mythical character, if we look at the Christ character, there's a Christ character, there's a Christ consciousness from the Christian mystical tradition particularly, and the Christ character is purported to have spoken his final words as, "It is finished." Now, one might assume that everything that's been written about him that preceded that moment is what he was referring to, is that which he was referring to. Yet, regardless, it was finished, and that's the same for all of us, as I've said elsewhere. Jim Morrison says so wonderfully, or had said, or is purported, just like Christ to have said, nobody gets out alive. How true that is. When I think of everybody who's gone before me, people that I've known, people that I thought I'd lost at the time, but really I'd gained, and there's another notion there, that nothing is lost when people die, because the essence of what they are stays with us, and in fact we recognize, realize, covet and embody that part of them which was the part of them we always experienced of them. We took a person, we take people to be the body and the mind, but the essence of where and how and who we experience when we're directly, physically in contact with them is the same essence that remains with us. They appear to us, even though seemingly bodily, physically, They appear to us as a fragrance, as a flavour of our own direct experience, as a seeming portion, but at the time of physical experience, the whole of the field of knowing that we really are. In our inherent being, as our inherent being, experience is known, and the knowing of the person is known in that space, whether the body's here or not. The predicament is that we take the person to be the story, the collected experiences, the highs and the lows of the relationship, and in so doing, it's that we lament further times and experiences and expressions and emotional interactions and psychological interactions and cups of tea and ice creams and falling out and making up and all of the story. But the essence is here. This is the deeper understanding of the nature of heaven, that when we've skewed this idea so that when people bodily die, we consider another realm, we move closer towards a conceptual idea of another realm, a place, a geographical postcode even for some, where we may go and they'll still be there. But in the living sense, in the knowing sense, in the experiential field, we and they are already undivided in the knowing of our own being, where all concepts, all phenomena, and all experience merge to whatever spontaneously arises and falls in the moment. So there's always this very here-ness, nowness and presence to that which we've known and adored. And if we can entertain that idea as a kind of an invitation, then we can recognize that and realize that out for ourselves beyond me expressing words on a warm summer evening right here, right now. But maybe that's of interest. So there's been enough of that. There's been enough experiences. There's been enough food. There's been enough intimacy. There has been enough suffering. There has been enough difficulty. There has been enough hurt. And there has been enough hurting. There has been more than enough, one might say, in humility, selfishness expressed. There's certainly been enough self-centeredness to endure my lifetime and the ways in which one's untransmitted pain has been, one's untransformed pain has been transmitted into the lives of those that I cared about or didn't care about even. Yet, how it seems that the closer the people are to us, the more they get to experience the difficulty and struggles that come with us. Our suffering is transmitted onto those we love more than those that we're distant to. But this is a counterintuition, of course. Why wouldn't it be that way? That it is easier to be vulnerable, broken, fractured, incompetent, intolerant, incensed, when we're around people that know us so well that we've gone beyond having to explain ourselves every time we're with a person. The more and deeper we are in love with a person, the more silence and stillness and beingness becomes an apparent dominating experience of being with someone, because we can just simply be. We move beyond saying words into the lives of others for our validation to ourselves and to those others. And we are simply okay being with others. And this is a closer approximation of the expression of intimate love, is our very being and the being of an apparent other when they become undivided, reconciled, and we are just together as one whole unit. And there has been enough of this. There has been enough travel, there has been enough times when one was stationary in life and trapped by the difficulties, the vagaries and the vicissitudes of just living the human experience, the dance of life, the human waltz. There has been enough harm done to me, and there has been enough forgiveness. Remains enough that still needs to be done, and there remains enough forgiveness to still be asked of those that are unforgiving and those to which I owe the request for forgiveness. But that's not within our control, how people respond to us. Only the seed of the desire to request forgiveness is ours to take agency for and to attempt to solicit by going out and making amends and asking for forgiveness and restoring the balance of what was taken psychically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. If that be the will of the One, if that be the way or the path with which we talk, there has been enough practices, programs and principles. There has been enough books. There has been enough TV, and there has certainly almost been enough delicious food. There has been enough delicious food. There has been enough illness. There has been enough ecstasy. There has been enough wonder and awe, and there has been enough substances and solicitations. There has been enough theft. There has been enough giving. There has been enough receiving. And none of these things was it a matter of me deserving. Well, none of these things has it been a matter of others deserving. There has been enough. Once there has been enough, I am enough. And I am precedes enoughness, yet the enoughness of our essential nature, of who and what we are, is the I am. Once we know this, when we live out of this enoughness pours out of us. And it is as we ascend out of difficulty, as we might label it, we realize that the descent into what we first thought was difficulty was the same as the ascent. Just as there has been enough life with a capital L and apparent life with a small l, there is enough dying and ending and death. Because all is enough, and everything is the gift of enoughness.